Introduction and hello everyone. Yes, I'll take a slightly different angle to the topic. As Liz introduced me, I work at the University of Sydney as a research and a lecturer in urban interaction design. I do a lot with what we call digital placemaking, which is utilization of technology or digital technology for making of places, for transformation of public spaces, and creating new experiences for people to come together to socially interact in public spaces. This is the kind of thing I do. This is a space in our campus in the University of Sydney that we designed as an experimental public space for research and teaching of digital placemaking. It exists for a couple of years now. This is an event we had last year. I designed part of the space. I designed this media facade, the lighting installation. I designed the content for for the light installation that's there. And I have also been teaching using this space and doing research with my students. This is something my students created last year, kind of an interactive game that was on for a couple of nights last year. And we have different content every night, showcasing what the students are producing, what some of my colleagues and myself are producing. And the whole point is to create this ever-changing public space that people can congregate during the night. In particular, it used to be a quite rundown and unsafe space within the campus, but it's a very busy place near one of the main gateways to the campus. So that has been what has driven this experiment, and it has been quite successful. Or it was being quite successful until the pandemic hit, but I'll get that in a moment. So one of the things I've done and as part of our development of that space is this little vignette of a pulsing heart, which plays in between other artworks created by my colleagues and students. And it's just like a very quick, short vignette of a pulsing heart saying, almost like the public space expressing to people, I love you, we are welcome here, and good things are going to happen here. So, of course, when the pandemic hit, the whole point and meaning of that space evaporated. Classes went online. Everybody went to work from home. Nobody was supposed to be on campus for many weeks. So I continue to have creative work displayed in there, but of course, there was no one to watch. So the best use I thought I could make of that space was we have a projector in place there, so it was to turn that pulsing heart vignette and play that every night, intermingled with public health message, just positive and lightweight message, just reminding whoever was there to go back home for a while and wash your hands, and we're all in this together. This is all for the benefit of everyone, and so on. And that has been played in that space every night since mid-March here in Sydney, which when we went into lockdown. And although we are now starting to walk away from lockdown, is still not entirely resolved the situation here in Australia. This is a low density place, is in the middle of the campus. So if, of course, the content is playing there, but if nobody is around, that's the meaning of the space kind of disappears, as I mentioned before. This is not the case everywhere in the world. So if you live in a more high density area or high density city, even if you stay at home, you're still partaking in the life of your community, of your neighborhood. You are seeing your neighbors sometimes in their apartments across the road. And I've been following that phenomenon with a lot of interest around the world. And I'm originally from Brazil, so I've been following the situation there quite closely, which is not very good, as you may have heard. My whole family lives in São Paulo. But one of the interesting things that I noticed is this phenomenon, this emergence of projections, urban projections, people who have access to equipment from their apartments, projecting messages of a range of different topics on buildings across the street and to everyone else around to see it. Many of those messages are political. I mean, there's a very serious political crisis going on in Brazil, and people protesting against the government and the president, who seems to be in denial of the whole situation. So many of the messages are political, but they're also more lightweight and soft messages like this. This guy who is curating a series of animated drawings done by children, and he got them received the drawings by children, animates and projects that, which is a very beautiful kind of digital storytelling, project in very difficult times, projecting something that I mean, can warm your heart and tell something, human stories, remind us that there's still people within the apartments, they're still living their lives. Um, but by following those people over there, I come across this festival asking for contributions for the same sort of things that I started to do here in Sydney. So like messages, humorous or lightweight public health messages, and with using digital art to be part of those projections in the city. So I got in touch with the curator, and I got that my little vignette that I have done here in Sydney that probably nobody else has actually seen, I hope, but projected to lots of different people, both in Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And that is part of this movement that has also found expression in different mediums, different media over there. So for example, stenciling on the streets, I found it's extremely interesting and has been become quite popular. Groups go around in different streets around Sao Paulo, for instance, and the same sort of nature for those messages, reminding people that we are going to get through this, and we just need to stick together a bit further. But from a design perspective, I find it quite interesting that the utilization of the city as a canvas, and that this triangulation of messages, both in terms of digital messages and projections, but also through stencils, and telling those ever-evolving story for everybody around to see, and to see from their homes as well. This is a sort of teaching that I do with my students. It's very hands-on, when you normally articulate those same sort of concerns in digital ways, in interactive ways, with lighting and electronics. And of course, we couldn't do this year, so we adapted. We went online, and we did like a Zoom-based exhibition. I created the software platform to enable students to exhibit from their location, wherever they were. We have students in Australia, in India, in China, all exhibiting at the same time, but most importantly, to allow others to socially interact real time through the artwork, through internet, with the artworks created by the students. So retaining that exhibition kind of ethos. And interestingly, and 2 slides to go. Interestingly, most of the concepts came about with articulating stories, like human-to-human memories, and this almost like artisanal or crafty work that you would normally do in public spaces, but articulated through an online medium and digital medium, which I found quite interesting. And finally, this is a new work done by one of my PhD students, prototyping with Google Street View, the use of urban robots and potentially social robots that could go through the city and connect people in case we find ourselves in this situation again, but also in terms of public disasters and fires and floods, for instance. So we're starting to make use of this condition that we didn't want to be in, but we found ourselves in, and to be creative and push innovation. So finally, this is my last slide. I see those are the 2 main aspects impacted by the pandemic in my field: citizen expression, so which people have responded by utilizing the city as a canvas and articulating messages throughout the cities, and also in terms of the interaction using virtual public spaces and mixed reality to retain this notion of social interaction and enabling citizen expression and interaction, albeit not necessarily on site, but also in a hybrid space. And I think those are lessons that we can take in the future to improve our relationship with public spaces in an augmented way. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the discussion later on. Thank you.